There is something about fire. Fire doesn't ask permission. It doesn't negotiate. It doesn't care what you have planned or what you expected your season to look like. Fire just burns. And if you've ever walked through a season that felt like it was burning everything to the ground, your dreams, your plans, your sense of self, maybe even your faith, then this episode is for you. Because here is what nobody tells you. When you're standing in the middle of the flames, fire is the only thing that can produce gold. Welcome back to Matters of the Heart Chronicles. I'm your host, Carmen, and this is the podcast where we go deep into the places that matter most, the places God is working most, the places that shape who we're becoming. And if you're joining us for the first time, welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm so glad you found us. And if you've been with us from the beginning, you know we don't do surface level here. We go into the heart of things. We are in week 3 of our journey together, and I want you to feel the progression of what God has been building in this series. In week 1, we talked about the waiting season and how your in-between is not an interruption of God's plan. It is His plan. Week 2, we talked about being planted, not buried, how Paul's hidden years in Arabia weren't wasted years. They were rooting years. And now week 3, the fire that forms. Because here's what I've learned. There are seasons that are quiet, like being buried underground. And then there are seasons that are loud, bright, violent, consuming. And those seasons, those are fire seasons. And the question isn't if you'll walk through fire. The question is, what will you let the fire do in you? Before we dive in, I want to acknowledge something. Right now, this episode is being released alongside a YouTube conversation I'm having. Video 4 in our series, The Covenant Connection, Why Your Business Matters to God. And this is in alignment with the framework that the Lord has given me in the month of February, which is the Derek Mahut, which is actually the path of royalty. And you might be wondering, what does business have to do with fire? What does purpose have to do with ashes? Everything. Because I believe that some of you listening right now are carrying a God-given vision for your business, for your calling, for your family, for your community. And that vision has been through the fire. Maybe it still is. The covenant connection is about understanding that what God has placed in your hands is not just a career, not just a side hustle, not just a ministry. It's a covenant assignment. And covenant assignments don't come without refinement. So today, the podcast and the YouTube video are in conversation with each other. One speaks as to why your purpose matters to God. And this speaks to the how God uses fire to form the people He's called to carry those assignments. I want to start with a scripture, Job chapter 23, verse 10. Job, a man who lost everything, his wealth, his children, his health, his reputation. Job, in the middle of his fire season, says this, but He knows the way that I take. When He has tested me, I will come forth as gold. I need you to stay in that verse for a moment, because Job doesn't say, when this fire is over, I'll be okay. He doesn't say, when God explains Himself, I'll be able to move forward. He says, when He has tested me, I will come forth as gold. Job understood something that most of us don't grasp until we're in the middle of it. Fire is not punishment. Fire is process. Now, let me be clear. Not every hard thing is from God. Not every painful season is God's design. Some fires are the consequences of choices, and some fires are just life in a broken world. But here's what I know. God is a redeemer, and he is so sovereign, so intentional, so purposeful that he can take any fire he permitted, fires that came against you, and use them for your formation. That's the God we serve. Zechariah chapter 13, verse 9 says this third part I will put into the fire. I will refine them like silver and test them like gold. They will call on my name and I will answer them. The refiner's fire. That's the image. Not a consuming fire, a refining fire. There is a difference. A consuming fire destroys everything. A refining fire destroys only what doesn't belong. And if you are in a fire season right now, I want to ask you something. What is the fire burning away? Is it burning away fear? Is it burning away a version of yourself that was built for someone else's approval? Is it burning away a false identity, a wrong alignment, a relationship that was holding you back from your covenant assignment? Because sometimes what feels like loss is actually liberation. I want to talk about passion for a moment because I think we've misunderstood what passion actually is. We think passion is excitement. We think it's that first rush of a new idea, a new calling, a new vision. We think passion is what you feel at the beginning. But the word passion at its root means suffering. It comes from the Latin passio. Passion is what you endure for the thing you love. I also found another definition of passion that comes from Acts chapter 1, verse 3. And the Greek word there is pashuo, which also means to suffer, to be acted upon, endured. We talk about passion of the Christ. But the word passion at its roots, passion is what you endure for the thing you love. We talk about the passion of Christ, and we know that wasn't excitement. That was fire. That was suffering. That was the cost of love. And I believe that the deepest, most enduring passion you will ever carry for your calling, for your business, for your purpose, for the people you're meant to serve, it's not born in the mountaintop moments. It's born in the ashes. Let's look at Isaiah chapter 61, verse 3. In my opinion, this is one of the most beautiful verses in all of Scripture. But then again, all of Scripture is beautiful. To appoint unto them that mourn in Zion, to give unto them beauty for ashes, the oil of joy for mourning, the garment of praise for the spirit of heaviness. Beauty for ashes. That's the exchange. That's the transaction of the kingdom. God doesn't waste your ashes. He doesn't dismiss them. He doesn't tell you to pretend they didn't happen. He takes them. He takes the burnt offerings of your broken dreams, your failed plans, your grief, and he makes something beautiful. And here's what I want you to understand about the connection between this podcast and the YouTube conversation. When God gives you a covenant assignment, when he says, this business matters to me, this calling is mine, this purpose is kingdom purpose, he doesn't hand that assignment to someone who hasn't been through the fire. He hands it to people who have ashes, people who know what it cost, people who do not throw away the assignment when the next fire comes, because they have already learned that fire refines. It doesn't define. Let me say that again. Fire refines. It doesn't define. Your ashes are not your ending. They are your evidence. Evidence that you were willing. Evidence that you endured. Evidence that God's fire found your worth refining. So what do you actually do when you're in a fire season? I don't want this to just be beautiful language. I want to give you something to hold on to. 3 things. 3 anchors for the fire. It seems like 3, it's becoming to be the common thread or the common theme in these podcasts, if you ask me. So let's go to the 3 anchors for the fire. Anchor number 1, don't run from the heat. Ask, what is it burning? This is the hardest one because our instinct when things get hot is to escape, to numb out, to get busy, to go back to what was familiar before the fire started. I can testify to that and tell you that is true. But the refiner doesn't leave the fire. Malachi chapter 3 verse 3 says, he sits as a refiner and purifier of silver. He watches the process. He regulates the heat. He knows exactly when to pull you out. So instead of asking God, how do I get out of this? Try asking God, what is this fire exposing? What is it burning that I need to let go? That shift in question will change everything. Because you see, you're not asking why, you're asking how. Anchor number 2, hold on to who God said you are, not what the fire feels like. Fire has a tendency to distort perception. When everything is burning, it's easy to believe the lie that you are being destroyed, that you were wrong about your calling, that the vision was a mistake. Let's look at 1 Peter chapter 1, verse 7. These trials will show that your faith is genuine. It is being tested as fire tests and purifies gold, though your faith is far more precious than mere gold. So when your faith remains strong through many trials, it will bring you much praise and glory and honor on the day when Jesus Christ is revealed. Your faith is more precious than gold, and it is being proven, not destroyed. Anchor number 3, let the fire deepen your yes. This is the one that would take you from survival to purpose. There is a version of your calling that you carry before the fire, and there is a version you carry after, and the version after is deeper. It is quieter. It is more certain because it has been tested. Before the fire, you might say yes to your assignment because it excites you. After the fire, you say yes because you know, even when it costs you, even when it's hard, even when nobody sees, this is what I was made for. That's the passion that keeps you grounded. That's the passion that kept Paul focused. That is passion born from ashes. That is the fire that forms. I want to leave you with 3 reflection questions this week. Sit with these, journal with them, bring them to God. Number 1, what fire season in your past has shaped you most? What did it burn away? And what did it reveal? Number 2, where in your current season are you running from the heat instead of asking, what is it refining? And number 3, is there a passion for your calling, your business, your purpose that has been dormant since a painful season? Could it be that God is waiting to resurrect it from the ashes? And if you're walking through this with a covenant assignment, a business, a ministry, a purpose that God has placed in your hands, I want to invite you to watch the YouTube video coming this week, The Covenant Connection, why your business matters to God. Because what we're building together in that space will connect directly to what God is forming in your heart right here. And in closing, here's what I want to leave you with today. You are not ruined. You are refined. You are not defined by what burned. You are being formed by the fire that is still burning. And the God who sits as the refiner, he has not looked away. He is watching. He is working. And when the time is right, he will pull you from the flame. And the world will see this is gold. This is what the fire was for. Thank you for being here. Thank you for letting this be a matter of your heart. If this episode spoke to you, beloved, share it. Leave a review. DM me. Tell someone about this series. Because someone in your circle is in a fire season right now. And they need to know passion is born from ashes. And God isn't done. Until next week, I'm Carmen. And this has been Matters of the Heart Chronicles. Keep going, beloved. The fire is forming you.